Union Square in New York City has become overrun by an unruly mob, where the streets are completely taken over by the crowd as they begin looting a hot dog truck. And Freedom News TV shows how NYPD seems practically helpless due to this situation.
No charges will be placed against you. If you refuse to leave, you will be arrested for unlawful assembly.
As it appears that thousands of people have gathered to basically riot at this point. So this takeover of New York City, is it over social justice? No. Is this activists saying no to a totalitarian government? No. This is over PlayStation 5. As Twitch streamer Cenat took to social media to state he would be giving away PlayStation 5s amongst other tech items, as NYPD immediately lost control despite their special crime-fighting plywood. Then brawls broke out in the streets, where they began chanting, which was requesting that NYPD perform a adult favor for them, and eventually someone in the crowd allegedly shot themselves. So they finally carried Cenat away, where he was apparently arrested for inciting the riot. As the streets were left trashed, but to be fair, this is New York City, so it might have looked like that when they got there. Which goes to show, some people don't need a reason to riot, they just want to riot. Because I really haven't seen anything that Cenat has done online that would suggest that his fans should take over the streets.
Whoa! Galaxy! Whoa! Ride me like a cowboy! Whoa! Galaxy!
Which really makes me wonder how he came across this phenomenon of why only certain groups of large gatherings become riots when given the opportunity. As I recently went to the Taylor Swift concert. One, because my nieces are Swift superfans and they absolutely loved every moment of it, but two, I previously covered the shootings that recently occurred in Seattle, where CBS made reference that this happened in the backdrop of the Taylor Swift concert that's apparently bringing in a dangerous element to the city. So how is it that this particular event can have tens of thousands of similarly aged people attending, and even in the streets, several thousand more of them just loitering outside? And I'll tell you firsthand, it's an absolute madhouse there, where the Taylor Swift crowds look similar to this, except no one is kicking the cars, stopping on the cars, or fleeing the scene as the police roll in, as Kai's event made the front page of Daily Mail with their destruction. Now I do know I'll get some shoe-sized IQ comments on how you can't compare a paid concert to a flash gathering in the streets. I just think it's interesting how some crowds can quietly line up to see their favorite pop singer, but similar capacity concerts like the Travis Scott Astroworld concert in Georgia sees this. And it wasn't just once, as we saw the Houston, Texas concert have similar lawlessness, which we know ultimately resulted in mass tragedy. Now I don't want to make drastic assumptions here, but I think what this really comes down to is society tolerates what they expect of you. So as long as these leaders refuse to clamp down and just throw the full force of the law on certain groups, they'll never realize that you're not helping them, you're just condemning them to a lifetime of a third world existence. Case in point, as Deep Blue Chicago sees similar lawlessness from their youth. Their mayor doesn't have answers, he just demands that you use kinder words to describe them.
That's not appropriate. We're not talking about mob actions. I didn't say that. Hold on a second, okay? Respectfully. These large gatherings, just hold on a second, y'all. It's important that we speak of these dynamics in an appropriate way.
And that's just what this comes down to in New York. Sure, the NYPD made a few arrests to try to quell the unrest, but I severely doubt that the New York City district attorneys are actually going to go through with charges on any of them. They might be able to somehow rationalize that this is social justice, but at this point, I think that they know that their logic flat out doesn't work. They just don't care anymore. Why actually enact progress and prosperity when you can just repeatedly fail, then claim victory no matter what? Just look at former NYPD captain and current New York City Mayor Eric Adams, and how he campaigned on keeping NYC a sanctuary city. And under his leadership, the streets literally became the slums of the country.
I took this video at around 4:30 this morning outside the Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan on 45th Street. So these migrants were left to sleep on the sidewalk. You can see the only thing separating them from the concrete is cardboard.
Then Adam suddenly reverts to right-wing talking points.
We need to control the border. We need to call a state of emergency, and we need to properly fund this national crisis.
But curiously pats himself on the back on how well he's doing.
All I know is all my haters become my waiters when I sit down at the table of success.
Now, I normally would sit back and say, he's a fool. Just look at how much his city is suffering. But I can almost guarantee that deep blue New York City will re-elect him, if not promote him to governor or the US Senate. And at this point, I actually wonder if I'm the fool here, because if I was a left-wing YouTuber instead, I wouldn't need to gather all this video evidence, dig deep into what's hidden in the mainstream media news articles, and try to present concise, rational responses to what's really happening in the world, when I could just lie. I could play the Cenat riots, omit the fact that a guy got shot, and just claim it was destructive, but mostly peaceful. And if things really got out of hand, I'll just wait for them to indict Trump again, because I'm telling you right now, it actually seems that every time things get really bad for the Democrats, new bombshell charges are brought against the Orange Man. So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on what's really going on in the world, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on how Seattle is getting exactly what they voted for.